the 24th of December 2019, and this upload is basically with regard to medical negligence. As I've explained, there's the entire Declaration of Human Rights that I've experienced violations of in Tralee, County Kerry, Ireland, due to hate crimes since getting married and giving birth in 2015. It's now 2019, and as we all know, as women, and the procedures with regard to pregnancy before and after and whatnot, medical checkups, etc., etc., etc. The medical negligence I first experienced would have been around 2014. 5 years on, my ailments have worsened and my health has deteriorated. As I've explained, I'm a deserted wife and a mother. I'm unemployed and I'm in public accommodation, HAPS accommodation. So, as I've explained, with deteriorating health and whatnot, and the intrusions of strangers and anonymous individuals causing very serious interferences in my privacy and private life, has caused other issues other than the medical negligence and medical ailments that I'm experiencing. My daily routine is a lot different to how it used to be while I was an active individual up to 2 years ago. My daily routine is quite relaxed, very peaceful, very quiet, very sedentary lifestyle, due to the other issues of bodily integrity violations that have affected my skeletal system also. So basically, since 2015, the level of intrusions and interferences that I've experienced is quite shocking, especially by individuals that I don't even know, and especially by individuals that don't even know me. But they've caused a lot of disruption. They've claimed a lot of falsehoods, and they've, just really messed up a good thing. But anyway, the damage has been done, and I'm in HAPS accommodation. Now, as I've explained in all my other uploads, the aggressors of my human rights have not just caused disruption, they've claimed falsehoods about disturbances, and they've defamed me as a person, and they've defamed my private life, etc., etc., etc. All unsubstantiated stories and claims and falsehoods. So, as well as these things happening, my concern is my physical health, that has not been treated, and that is consequently a case of medical negligence in 21st century Ireland. So, I've already explained the assaults that I've experienced, and the harassment, and how in the space of 2 years or so, I've had to move from my marital home to my family home, and now I'm in public accommodation. There are people that have obstructed my legal rights, that have obstructed my attainment of my medical needs being met. They've obstructed, and, thieves and stolen financial wealth. They've done so much damage and caused me so much harm. And the ministers, as I've described already, with regard to health and justice, etc., 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 that the said same individuals have, caused very serious disruption in, such as, the medical matters I'm experiencing. So, besides the defamation, there's been a lot of criticisms, and they say that those in glass houses can't throw stones, but those judging me and my lifestyle with the circumstances that are being caused for me, seem to think that they are so impeccable, and so self-righteous that their own behaviour of violating my human rights isn't an issue of concern at all in comparison to the the lifestyle that I'm leading, which is harmless in comparison to the damage, offences, and violations and wrongdoings that the individuals causing these problems have caused for me. So this is a pretty bizarre circumstance. It's unusual that people that don't have any interaction with me, that don't know me, and that have no reason to be calling the shots about where I live or who I'm living with or whether I'm on my own, whether I'm drinking a cup of tea or a cup of coffee or however many cups of coffee I have a day, or whether I even have a cigarette a day. Um, there's a lot of criticism, there's a lot of, scrutiny, and there's a lot of damage after being done. And I'm just absolutely astonished that these adults, professionals, that have qualifications, have not seen the error of their ways at all, at all. As a woman nearing 40 years of age that has been ridiculed unjustifiably and at one stage claimed as having intellectual disabilities and other ailments, mental ailments, whatever. Um, you know, these are the insults that I've actually had to tolerate listening to, and it's not just the insults; it's the injuries that I'm experiencing. So, as I'm saying this, I'm physically very sore. Um, the medical negligence that was ignored were symptoms of nausea, skeletal and muscular pain, headaches, backaches, body aches. Um, None of those were remedied, and there weren't ever any consultation referrals or anything like that suggested or recommended, even though it's obviously required, you know. So, anyway, um, regardless of the humdrum of legal violations and obstructions and intrusions, etc., by strangers, basically, um, my point that I'm getting at is that since 2006, I started my studies, as I've said already, in personal development and recovery. So that would have been an alternative medicine, Ayurveda and whatnot. And, you know, having been a deserted wife now with the past 2 years and having been confronted with this issue of human rights violations, which is quite serious, and constitutional wrongdoings as well, and not to mention the defamation and insults and whatnot, and the lack of understanding that people actually have displayed about a very obvious and blatant situation that is being attempted as a insignificant issue, and that is there's a very lame attempt of a very poor cover up with more lies and more damage and more kind of get out of jail causes and clauses. So the thing about it is, as I'm saying this now, I'm thinking of back to 2006 when I started my own self recovery from, my own personal matters that I needed to recover from. That all involved, natural healing, alternative healing, and psychoanalysis and fellowship studies and stuff like that. And that's been an ongoing interest and area of expertise that I've worked in since 2006 up to up to about, I'd say, 2015, really. And then there was, birth, marriage, work, etc., etc., etc. So it's come to the fore now for me that in 2019 I have this issue of physical concern, and I've sought medical assistance on several occasions, and while pregnant, I've had to have, like any woman, we have to have our checkups and whatnot. And the thing about it is, um, I'm here living as a single woman now, technically, unsupported, without my legal rights having been met or whatnot. And I'm confronted with the challenge of physical concern. Now, you know, that's not always easy for anyone to ever, have to overcome. But it's, it's not insurmountable. It's not that it's not achievable. Anything, Um, the thing I'm getting at is that what I'd appreciate is that those people that are perpetrating hate crime and that are pulling the strings and interfering in my private life and that are obstructing my wealth, my legal rights, my medical rights, who I'm fully aware of the individuals as well. Um, those individuals, I'm just wondering if the upper echelons of the professional individuals involved and aware of this matter would acknowledge the damage that those claimants and aggressors of my constitutional and human rights are causing. Um, it's not only highly, intrusive. It's not very compassionate to be victimizing a victim of hate crime. There's been very unwarranted stress and harm caused since I gave birth and got married, um, due to, you know, other people's issues that had an impact on me. Um, the issue of people intruding and causing me these problems is very, very insensitive, especially with these concerns of physical health and negligence that have occurred. Um, there are these culprits that are hell bent on trying every rotten tactic to basically um, damage my livelihood. They've damaged my career since 2005 with revenge porn and sexual assault, and now again in the years between 2017 and 2019. So I'm hoping that I'm making myself very clear that there are individuals in society that are guilty from previous offences back over a decade ago that are still causing trouble today. And they are already aware of the trouble that they've already caused, but they have not yet comprehended how serious the trouble that has already happened actually is. So I'm hoping that they might have a little bit of understanding, a little bit of decency and common sense, and a bit of respect for the experiences that have already occurred and that are presently occurring, and that for once and for all, as we're in the festivities of 2019 now, they might kind of have a little bit of, you know, to just try and put a stop to the trouble that's being caused, because it's not just affected me, there's been others as well. So Tralee has had a tough 2 years due to a lot of serious wrongdoings and offences, and as a HAPS recipient, unsupported, deserted wife, and as a victim of hate crime and medical negligence and unlawful detainments in mental health hospital, uh, Kerry University Hospital, without having ever experienced a mental health illness. I'm just hoping that Simon Harris, Leo Varadkar, Charlie Flanagan, the women in Dáil and the women agencies, the female agencies around the country understand how serious a problem has been caused by the individuals aggressing my human rights and my constitutional rights, and also that are all, responsible for the offences over a decade ago that I've explained. So if those that are making false claims and causing me this trouble don't mind, would you please have a bit of respect for a bit of privacy, because my dwellings on 4 or 5 occasions have already been trespassed, and you know, this is a difficult time for everyone. So I'm just hoping that those causing these problems and making false claims and causing this awful situation might understand the impact of the damage that has already been done.